intimate right here, so we're gonna talk.
Look, and somebody's streaming it, right? Somebody's streaming this. It will be shared.
Yes.
Yes, and so we will make sure that people see this.
Absolutely.
And as people finish getting their time with Anthony Hamilton, we're gonna pull them on over here.
Absolutely.
So, look, there's so much to you as a woman and as a person, because I've had the pleasure now of getting to know you just a little bit,
Yes.
and every time I love your spirit more and more.
Thank
So.
you.
I want to first start with asking you about how you have become so resilient as an entrepreneur, because this is not your first rodeo. And I think that's so important for the audience, because this is strike 3 and this is like your home run, right?
Yeah. You know, when I think about success and entrepreneurship, the first thing that comes to my mind is being okay with failing, right? So whatever failing looks like to you, whatever perception that is. So for me, I had a very successful restaurant in New York City. It was called Pinky's Jamaican and American Restaurant. And that business did for me at the time everything that I needed to do. But what I didn't know was it was teaching me a bigger lesson. And it was teaching me about character and about resilience and about integrity and about being okay with having the perception of the failure, because the building blocks that I was putting together really allowed me to grow in the space of opening one of the biggest concepts in the country. So I needed to fail in that business. I needed to have my hardships. I needed to go flat broke. I needed for people not to believe in me, because what that did is it gave me that level of motivation to say, you know what? If nobody else is going to believe in you, you got to believe in yourself. If nobody else is going to support you, you got to be able to support yourself. And as long as you're in alignment with your source, whatever that is, everything that you want as it relates to entrepreneurship, you can have and you can get.
I have chills, because did you all hear what she said? I needed people not to believe in me.
Yeah.
Which is like, nobody says that, right?
Yeah.
So then you had a juice bar.
I had a juice bar.
And then how on earth did we arrive at Slutty Vegan?
So I had the juice bar and I had a restaurant. And for the people who don't know my story, the restaurant, it was a jerk chicken concept. And at the time I was vegan. So I wasn't being true to who I am, right? So that's a part of the reason why things happen the way that they happen, because you have to be true to yourself. So I was selling jerk chicken, and one day I got a call saying that my restaurant was on fire. So literally, as an entrepreneur who, ever since the day that I was born, everything that I've ever touched turned to gold. Like, I'm that person, like, if I put my mind to something, I'm going to do it. So to wake up one day and I lose everything, I went from making $30,000 a month to making zero, to damn near trying to think about how am I going to get my next meal, because I'm prideful. And as an entrepreneur, I didn't want to ask anybody for anything, and that's just the truth, right? So to go from losing that, it's just like, okay, are you going to quit and are you going to fall on your face, or are you going to use this as an opportunity to grow? So as soon as that restaurant burned down, I got a call from a TV show to be a casting director. And it was a great opportunity, because the amount of money that I was making at the restaurant, it was comparable to what I was making on the TV show. So I got the opportunity to move to Los Angeles, California, and I literally just took the leap. I'm like, listen, I don't have anything to lose. So I took a leap and I went to Los Angeles, California, and I was working on the show. And then 2 years later, they said, hey, Pinky, do you want to go to Atlanta? So I'm like, yes, I'm going to Atlanta. I graduated from Clark Atlanta University, right? So I'm like, okay, I get to go home. My sorority sisters are there. Hey, DST, hey, So I'm like, I get to go home and I get to be around my friends and my family. So this is a no-brainer for me. So one day, I packed up all my things and I moved to Atlanta. And I'm in the house one day in my 2-bedroom apartment. And I was sitting there because I'm an idea machine, right? So I always have ideas, always. But there was one time I was just sitting in the house and I'm like, I want some vegan comfort food. And how can I start this as a business? So literally, my mind was just rolling, and like a light bulb, it hit me, Slutty Vegan. Now, the funny thing about this, y'all, and I tell people this all of the time, I was not thinking big enough. Because had I known that Slutty Vegan would be as big of a brand as it is, I would have did a lot of things differently. But I'm glad things worked out the way that they had, because it was only supposed to be a ghost restaurant. So what was supposed to be a ghost restaurant literally turned into people standing in line for 2, 3, 4 hours to patronize my business. People falling in love with the movement. It's only been 11 months that I've been in business, and I've made it a multi-million-dollar business. I've been featured in Times Magazine, Forbes Magazine, Features in Essence, everything that you can think of, working on a TV show, and all of these things happened because I needed people not to believe in me. Yeah. And when that happened, it literally gave me the motivation that I needed to get where I wanted to be. Yeah.
Look, earlier today, we were speaking on this stage a lot about passion.
Right.
And your passion comes through, like in every, like when the first day I met you, even when I met you and we were chatting in Atlanta and you were eating the popcorn, but you were eating the popcorn, that was a snack.
tearing that
but you
popcorn
were like,
up.
You were tearing the popcorn up, but you were like passionate about what was going to happen with Slutty Vegan and the bacon and the sauce and the future. And so I think especially for the ladies in the audience, how do you find it to lead as a woman in Atlanta? I've been to your establishment. Like, how do you keep everybody motivated? Y'all, you walk in there and they're like, she's a virgin. I was like, whoa, okay, am I a virgin? Okay, all right. But it's fun and it's exciting. So like, how do you lead? How do you get your team and your staff to take you seriously while keeping that high level of excitement and fun? Like, that can't be easy either, while growing.
Right. There's a lot of elements that come with it, but I think that the people who work in my business don't work for me, they work with me. And that's a big difference. When you have people working for you, like you want something from them, but these are the people that I want to grow with me. And as long as they can grow with me, there's a level of investment there and they feel like they're a part. And when somebody feels like they're a part of something, they're going to be more involved in the beauty of the business, right? So that's one. And they're a reflection of me. So what you see when you show up is just a reflection of who I am. I'm loud. I got big energy. I want people to feel good. I love to serve people. And I have some people who I went to college with. This is who I was when I was in college. Right. So as, 10 years later after graduating and opening up a business, this is literally the same Pinky that you saw back in college. It's the same Pinky that you saw in high school. But these are the people that are an extension of that. So you are what you attract, right? So all of these people that I'm attracting are really an extension of who I am on a day-to-day basis, with or without the money. And that's important. And a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, need to know that.
That's a great point. What do you think in your heart of hearts? Because when we were chatting on the phone, you said to me, and you said it even again now, I didn't think it would be this big. What do you think has made the movement to the point where people stand in line for your food trucks in different cities, in Atlanta, that they follow you? Like, what do you think has allowed people to hook in so quickly in less than a year?
The hook. People ask me that a lot. And I think about that, and my answer kind of changes a little bit because I get more time to really think about it. But there's a couple of variables that come into play when I think about the success of the business. If you are an entrepreneur in the audience, people don't buy products. They buy into the story, right? So they buy into what that story is. So here I am. I'm just a girl from East Baltimore, a little rough around the edges. Hey, Baltimore. My father went to prison and served 20 years the day that I was born. So I grew up in a Jamaican household where literally I had no choice but to hustle and bootstrap my way to the top. And everything that I got was never handed to me. I had to work hard to get it. So that's one. People have bought into that story to say, wow, she looks like me. She talks like me. She thinks like me. If she can do it, I can do it. That's number one. Number two, it's organic and it's raw, right? Everything we do is real and it's raw. And the message that we want to convey is that this is just a family business that everybody can be a part of. So if you follow our social media pages, down to the bags that we have, we include the people who follow us. We have a plastic bag and Slutty Vegan and a brown paper bag. That was somebody on Instagram. We did a contest. We have a t-shirt. Somebody just won a contest. Every single employee that we have -2 were followers from Instagram that we sent out a message and we hired them through Instagram. So again, making people feel included. And when they feel included, they want to support. And thirdly, the fact that it's a black-owned business that's successful. There's a misconception that black-owned businesses don't have good customer service. They don't have quality products. They're not going to be nice to you. They don't last. They don't succeed. They don't know what they're doing. So what we're doing is we're breaking all of the rules. We're creating our own lane. We're changing the narrative of what people think that black-owned businesses are, and we're showing you that yes, we can move and we can have a good time, but we're official. We got our paperwork in process. Our customer service is A1. There's nothing that you can say, and we're going to make you feel good. You walk through the door. If you're having a bad day, you're going to leave out with a smile and feeling slutified. And I think that all of those things combined really make for a great experience, and that's why people not only come to Slutty Vegan, but they keep coming back.
That's why I'm coming back, just to be clear. I had a good old time just hanging out there, just watching everybody say I was getting slutified. I was hanging out. I didn't want to leave. I think especially because of how quickly you're growing and because we're here to talk about this multi-million-dollar empire that you're building, how did you know to make the bacon its own thing? How as an entrepreneur, as a business person, are you looking at, and I know the audience is probably really curious to know, like, how do you know what part you should have as a standalone product? Why that versus maybe something else?
So businesses, especially my business, is all about that brand extension, right? Because I'm being realistic. So if Slutty Vegan falls apart today, right, I know that the brand doesn't die. And how can the brand stay alive? With products. So I'm bottling my sauces. I have the bacon. If you look at the metrics and the numbers, our number one sandwich on the menu is the one night stand. The one night stand has bacon. So if I know that everybody comes to my restaurant to buy the one night stand, it's not about the burger, it's about the bacon, because it tastes just like bacon. So now I can create another stream of income where I can put this product in stores and people can say, oh, I can go to Slutty Vegan and get a burger today, and I can buy the bacon and bring it home and make my own sandwich. So it's all about that brand extension, because who knows, the restaurant industry is the hardest industry in the world. It is not easy. So today they love you and tomorrow they may hate you. But in the meantime, I got to figure out ways to be able to make that business sustainable, to make people continue to come back. And that's down to the product. So right now, obviously, we're not using any organic products. So what we're going to do is we're finding black-owned farmers so that we can trade out the onions and the tomatoes and the lettuce to be source ingredients from black-owned companies so that people can want to support it even more. So just finding new ways to make the business sustainable outside of just a restaurant element so that people continue to come back. It literally is just, it's like chess. It's a numbers game, right? And if you can master the numbers game, which I'm still mastering every single day, that is exactly when you win.
So this one I just thought about. The restaurant industry is really hard.
Very.
I know this as well. I know it firsthand experience, not from starting a restaurant, but from looking at investing in them, right? It's tough. And the ones that tend to succeed are the ones that sell alcohol, right? They lose money on the food, or you break even on the food, and you make money on the liquor or events or what have you. So for you, what made you have the confidence in going from feeling like I can now support a brick and mortar store? Because you recently moved, like, just tell us about the shop. You recently moved from the truck to the shop.
So how Slutty Vegan started, it started in a ghost kitchen, right? So it was a commercial kitchen. I paid $1,200 a month to have a space, and it was on Uber Eats and DoorDash, right? So people would come and start delivering, but the word got out. So people would DM their orders and come and pick it up. We had so many people coming to support the business. I looked up and there was about 300 people standing outside waiting to patronize the business, right? So the owners of the facility said, we can't do this. It's too many of y'all out here, so you got to figure something out. So I had a hard decision to make. So what I did is I found somebody that was selling a food truck. I ain't never even eat from a food truck, y'all, okay? So I found a food truck. I put $10,000 down, got it wrapped. Didn't even know it was going to work, but I just gave it to the source. I said, you know what? Something got to give. Success is like mud. Something is going to stick. So I started with the food trucks and started going to different locations. Okay, today I had 200. Tomorrow there were 300. The next thing I look up, there were 500 people with laptops, with lawn chairs, with umbrellas, with their books, studying, standing in a line in rain, sleet, snow. It didn't matter what it was. They came, and I'm like, okay, this is bigger than food. This is bigger than burgers and fries. We're helping people to reimagine food. So the minute that I figured that out, I'm like, oh, I got to expand this and I got to move fast. Despite people telling me, don't move too fast, but I'm like, I can't do all of this on a truck. I'm literally pushing out almost 1,000 burgers every single day on a truck with 10 people on a hot truck. So what I did is, one of my followers on Instagram, right? I can't wait to meet the founder of Instagram. But one of my followers on Instagram offered me the opportunity to go into a space that was vacant, and I took it, and literally it was seamless. That's how you know when you are in alignment. Anything that you want, you ain't got to work for it, you ain't got to steal, you ain't got to buy, you ain't got to do nothing. Everything that you want, you're gonna be able to get if it's for you. So I got into that space, and on January 13th, shameless plug, January 13th, I opened up the brick and mortar, the first brick and mortar. And within that time, I just closed on a property in Jonesboro, Georgia. I don't know anybody from Georgia? In Jonesboro on the south side. And then yesterday I just signed another lease for a property on Edgewood in Atlanta, Georgia. And then I bought another truck. So in a matter of 11 months, I have 2 food trucks and I have 3 properties in 11 months. And that's a big deal because the way that the business has grown, it's like you can't slow down. So many people tell you like, oh, you don't want to move too fast, but Slutty Vegan is unlike anything that you've ever seen before. So do you follow the rules or do you play against the rules and create your own rules and learn along the way? And I decided to make up my own rules and learn along the way. Yes.
and she's killing it. And you got people like me who live in New York talking about, can you send me a burger?
I'm
Like
on my
literally,
way to New York.
actually, no joke. We had a call. Was it last Friday we were talking on the phone?
Yeah.
Last Friday we were talking on the phone, and I said, "You gonna have the burgers in Indianapolis?" Because my boo is gonna be there. He want to get slutified too. And she was literally like, "Well, I don't know. What's the kitchen?" Because this is when I say scrappy, and when we say scrappy in entrepreneurship, that just means that you hustle, that you move fast, that you leave nothing, right? In that one conversation, she was like, "Well, let me see. Maybe I can get a kitchen. What would we do to get the
Asking
burgers in?"
all the questions.
I mean, she was literally trying to get all of y'all slutified.
I like a good coin now. Okay.
I like to work under pressure, and clearly so does Pinky.
Yes.
But there's another thing we talked about, which was protecting what you're building, right? And so just talk a little bit. I know you've shared with me, but share with all of us how you are protecting the secret sauce, double entendre,
Yes.
both the secret sauce and the secret sauce. How are you protecting both to protect your brand as it grows so quickly?
So, that's a very good question, and a lot of entrepreneurs don't know this. Hell, I didn't even know it before my last business. So I made sure to trademark everything down to the name of my burgers, right? Down to my name, Pinky Cole, to trademark that. And it was important. At first, those are the things I wasn't really thinking about at first, but I had to understand that this is a business that's not for right now. This is something that's going to be here for the long term. So I have to protect my intellectual property. I have to protect all of those things. So what I did is I made sure that I trademarked every single thing, which is very expensive, but it's worth the money, right? Because you'll be protected on the back end. And then also the sauce. I have my brothers making the sauce. So nobody knows the sauce but my flesh and blood. They came out the same womb that I came out of. And I did that strategically because the secret is in my sauce. If anybody has ever eaten Slutty Vegan, the burgers are good, but the sauce is what takes it to the next level. And if I can make sure that I keep that sauce in-house, and to be honest, I'm doing what the Jews do, and that's just the truth, and that's what more black people need to do. We keep it in the family and really grow a business and really bring your family in and help it to grow, and that's exactly what I'm doing. And I like to be that example to show that if other races and cultures can do it, why can't we? We can do it too. So I've just been protecting it from the top to the bottom.
I love that. Well, thank you. I think we now have time for questions, and I know Pinky wants to be able to answer all of your questions. So if everyone can keep their questions as short as possible so that we can answer as many as possible, that would be awesome.
I have a question, an entrepreneur question.